Now what we're looking at in this video is something called do-while loops, and these are almost identical to a while loop except for one tiny little difference. And we'll have a look at the syntax first, and then it should become fairly obvious as to what the small difference is. What you say with a do-while loop is you say do, and then you open your block of code with a curly brace, and then you have the code in the loop, and then you close the block of code, and then you say while, and you have some expression, and you also have the semicolon. And in here is an expression which will evaluate to either true or false, so a Boolean expression. Now you may be thinking, what on earth is the difference between that and a while loop? Well, given that it's almost the same characters and it's almost, it's got while in it as well, it is almost identical. The only tiny difference which is occurring is that this will go through the first iteration, whatever this is. It doesn't matter what you've put in this while expression. This could evaluate to false, but it will always do the first go. Then it will check the while expression and check to see if that expression is true. And then based on that, it's either going to go back to the beginning or it's going to finish with that do while loop. So you always get the first iteration being processed, and then on the basis of the evaluation of the expression in the while, you're going to then go back to the beginning if it evaluates to be true. So let's have a look at this going in an example, a written example first. So let's say that I want to put on the screen somebody's score, and I want to do that regardless of what the score is. But if their score is below 5, then I'm going to increase their score one by one up to 5. So let's have a look at this. So I'm going to start off with a variable which will be the current score, and I'm going to make the current score equal to 0. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking the score, and so I'm going to say, because I want that to go on the screen whatever, I'm going to say do, and then document write the score. And then I'm going to say to it increase the score by 1, so increment the score. And then I'm going to say to it while the score is less than, and we go for 6 this time because that way I'm going to get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 appear on the screen. So while the score is less than 6. Now what's going to happen here is it's going to say, right, the score is 0, do this thing here. So put the score into the HTML document. So it's going to put 0 in. Then it's going to add 1 to the score, so that now becomes 1. And then it's going to say while the score is less than 6. So is the score less than 6? Yes, it is. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to put 1 on the screen, increment, 2 on the screen, increment, 3 on the screen, increment, 4 on the screen. That would obviously be underneath. 4 on the screen, increment, 5 on the screen. Is 5 less than 6? Yeah. So we're going to increment again. We'll put, and this time we've got 5. Is 5 less than 6? Yes, it is. So we'll write the 5 on the screen, which is what we've done here. Then we'll increment and we'll get 6. Is 6 less than 6? No, it's not. This is false, and so we come out. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the screen. Now let's say that this time what we do is instead of putting in a score of 0, we put in a score this time, which is 6. So I've got do here, and I write 6 on the screen. And then I increment and I get 7. And then it says while the score is less than 6. So while 7 is less than 6, so it won't do any more iterations for me. But I do get this first number appearing. If I'd done the while at the top and it was just a while loop, this 6 would have never appeared. So do while loops are so that you can do something once and then see, do I want to do that again and again and again? So now we're going to do this practically, so the same idea, the code which we've just written out by hand, and we're going to look to see that it works when we're actually programming it. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a variable which I'm calling score, and I'm assigning it the value of 0 to begin with. And then I'm going to do a do while loop, so I'm going to say do and then open the structure, and I'm going to write to the HTML document with the score, And then I'm going to increment that score, so I'm going to add 1 to it. And I want it to do this while my score is less than 6. And so there we see what's gone on. And so it's gone through, it's done this. I just put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the screen. And then when it gets to the increment here and makes it 6, 6 is less than 6, that's false, so it drops out. Now let's say that I made my score 5 this time. It still puts on the screen and then it increments here and makes 6. Let's say that I did 6. Now 6 will never be true. 6 is less than 6, so that's always going to be false here. But if I do 6, I still get my score appearing, but I never get my second, third, fourth iteration. So I get my first iteration whatever happens, and then based on the while I might get more iterations. And you can still have infinite loops with this, so you want to be really careful when you use this structure, like you're careful when you use a while structure as well.